Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do a should you pull on the Lightning and Beatrix banners. So these banners are coming really early, so it's kind of hype that we're getting these characters so soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to briefly talk about the characters on the banners and their kits. Now, a couple of disclaimers or things that we need to think about moving forward with should you pull is which crystal room you have chosen may actually impact your decision. Right? So for example, if you chose yellow, which I believe is Lightning's crystal color, that might be a reason to go for Lightning. Or if you chose red, like I did, that might be a reason to go after Beatrix, right? So crystal room will play an impact, I think, in the characters you choose because it is going to make them stronger. And I would definitely so in general, I'm going to talk about my should you pulls as if like they're neutral, like no crystal rooms, whatever. And then just know that if you have that color, you might want to lean a little bit more towards that character. Now, the other disclaimer I need to throw out there that I don't think I've heard anybody really talk about when they've done should you pulls on this is that the side banner characters, I think there's a chance they could change. Because when I'm looking at Beatrix, I see Yang here, and I feel like we got him somewhat recently. So the thing that is going to be weird about when Global is doing the shifting is that if these side banner characters start to overlap or come too close, they may decide to change them. I don't know. So I'm going to talk about it as if this is what the banner is going to look like, but just keep in mind that the side characters could change possibly. I feel like there's a possibility of that because there's so much movement going on, right? So let's look at Lightning's banner first. We have Lion and we have Barret, and actually I feel like I've talked about Lion. I feel like I've talked about Lion very recently on a should you pull as well. So I feel like she might be another one that might not actually be here, right? Lion and Barret, neither of these are characters you should care about or go for at this time. They're LD only characters. Barrett's got a cool off-turn thing. He does crit damage is kind of his thing. Lion, the thing with Lion that I like is she has a bully follow-up that I believe dispels, which is really cool. I really like Lion. I just want her to get an upgrade, right? So don't worry about these two side characters. Now for Lightning, one thing is Lightning is a very popular character, so most veterans probably have her built. And what's coming new here is the FR. So what I would say for this, if you're a veteran like me, if you already have Lightning Green and like fully maxed out, I would jump in with tickets to get the FR, because this is the type of place where you use your tickets when you're not chasing a BT on a character. That's where you use tickets. You use gems when you have to have the BT. Use tickets if you already have the BT and you're just chasing the FR. That's kind of the strategy I think you need to use moving forward. Lightning now, a lot of you are familiar with her, but she's a very speedy single target damage character. She has some delay on her LD. She has Unbreak in her kit, and then when she breaks, she can steal free turns. Now, pretty much what her rework does that makes her so good is her EX gets 12 HP dumps, which makes her EX ridiculously powerful. Her EX is going to constantly break and keep pushing the enemies back. And her BT basically makes it so that her EX will constantly be refreshed, so she can spam EX, and then you can also combo her with like a Bahamut summon when maybe your BT effect isn't up to spam the EX. So Lightning now has kind of turned into, because the way she was before was just kind of like a spam, press a lot of buttons, do a lot of attacks, kind of you would spread out and change attacks, and you'd go between like Ranger mode and Commando mode or whatever the two modes were, and you kind of just did a bunch of stuff. She's kind of just turned into like an EX spam character now, which is what you really, really want to do, is spam and push the enemies back, delay, whatever. So if you like a fast single target damage dealer that kind of denies enemy turns and breaks a lot, like Lightning is definitely the character for you. And because she's coming 3 months early, I would probably recommend her a little bit more highly than I would have had she dropped at her normal time. So because she's an early drop, the one thing when I do any of these should you pulls this month, what you need to prioritize number one is Astos. So whenever you're thinking about should you pull on a character, it's do I have enough resources after Astos to get this character? Then if you do, then you decide if you're going to pull or not. So I would say if Lightning is your crystal color, I think she's almost a must pull because she's going to be a premium damage dealer for yellow. And if you already have the BT, if you're a veteran that already has her maxed out in green, I definitely think she's worth tickets to slide in and get the FR, right? All right, and then let's go to Beatrix. Beatrix, so this banner would potentially have Yang and Cyan. Cyan really isn't worth it. His LD call, some people like it because it does a lot of damage, so sure, you'd have the LD call for that. Actually, let me go back. Are either of these calls? No, I don't really use Lion or Barret call for anything. Barret Call might give you crit damage or something, but yeah, I wouldn't worry about those for calls. So Cyan, I think, has a solid call just because it's like a damage call. Some people like that. And then, but Cyan, he's just like a generic damage dealer with all defense ignoring attacks. So the only time he really came into play was that one really nasty Shinryu Edgar's where you had to do like defense ignore. But if you had Edgar, it didn't matter, right? So, and then Yang is actually a viable. Like, so Yang is an example of a viable side banner character LD only because he's off-turn damage. So you just pop his LD, let your character spam and take turns, and he kicks a lot. So he actually combos like really well with lightning, and actually he might be yellow too. If I'm thinking right, I could be wrong, but he might be yellow too. So if you did a yellow team, it would be like, yeah, lightning spamming a bunch of turns while Yang is kicking. Yang actually does have a lot of value with lightning. So if you're going in on lightning and you don't have Yang, I mean, Yang could actually be a really solid pickup for you, unless you have other off turns. Obviously, like a character like Core or like another FR Echo off-turn character would be a lot better, but like if you wanted like a nice budget off-turn character, especially if you're saying doing here, before I get too much into it, I'm gonna just go into my game quick. Let me actually make sure Yang is yellow before I go too crazy, but like what I'm thinking as my game is loading up here is if Yang and Lightning are yellow and you're, say, doing a yellow crystal room where you have to use a full yellow team, that would actually be like a really, really nice setup for you to get some good off turn, because remember, even though Yang's LD only, he's going to be getting your boosted crystal room stats, and like the off turn damage actually will end up looking really nice on these LD only characters because they're getting so many stats. And by the way, on the crystal rooms, I do recommend that you hit all the stat nodes first before you go into the skills. And if you're someone that's willing to spend money, they did put 2 sparkle bundles in the shop, and they weren't like terribly expensive. So I did buy them. So there are 2,000 more rainbow sparkles if you want to get another jump start on your rooms, right? All right, so I finally got my game loaded up here. Let me just go. I just don't want to be crazy and like say the wrong thing. So let me just find Yang quick in my game here. Yep, Yang is yellow, and then let me make sure Lightning is also yellow, because I was just talking about her. In my mind, she should be yellow, but maybe I'm just thinking because of thunder damage. But I could be saying, yeah, okay. Lightning and Yang are both yellow, so I am not crazy. So that combo is viable. So once again, if you're a yellow crystal room, there is some things you might want to grab here. Anyways, moving on to Beatrix. I think Beatrix is going to be a fantastic character. I am a red crystal room player, so I'm definitely getting Beatrix. She's going to be fantastic. My red team definitely could use like kind of the tankiness. Here's the thing too, like I don't know that I would call Beatrix like a true tank, and you know, red's also got Rex, Rex is also a pseudo tank, but having Rex and Beatrix together on the same team, that's going to be a really, really nice combo, right? And I do think Beatrix is more like, she is closer to a true tank than what like Rex is, because Beatrix does have off-turn damage. She does tank really, really well. So, and then when you get Holy Knight Safeguard, you are literally invincible. So yeah, I'm going to love having Beatrix as a part of my red team. And the nice thing is I can kind of go between Rex and Yuffie as my main DPS depending on what I want on my team, right? So Beatrix, she does a lot, actually. She does have HP regen, so she has healing in her kit, which is really, really good. She has her off-turn damage, which her off-turns are great, and I've mentioned this before, because one, they're defense ignoring, so like they're always going to hit really well, and they also dispel, so that's fantastic. And between like Beatrix and Yuffie now, we've got a lot of like dispel options here on red, which is very, very good. And then the big thing with Beatrix is her Holy Knight Safeguard. The way it works is you use her EX, then you get a special HP plus attack, which will put Holy Knight Safeguard on. It is a 2-turn buff, but she gets instant turn rate with it, so you're going to eat a turn right away. So you want to think of it as like a 1-turn buff. But for that 1 turn, as long as Beatrix isn't taking a turn and she's just sitting there, while that buff is on her, you cannot take any HP damage. What's busted about her BT effect is it makes it so her buffs don't decrease. So once again, it's kind of this theme with what a lot of these BTs are doing, but you're literally invincible while her BT effect is up, which is really, really good. So yeah, Beatrix, I think, is going to be an excellent character. I would say for the average player, I think Beatrix is a really, really nice pickup, especially if you're looking for a tank. So I would say if you're a red crystal user, I think Beatrix is like for sure, like really heavily, I would recommend going in on her. But once again, it's going to depend on your resources. I think everybody needs to prioritize Astos first, and then everything else comes second. So it depends on where your resources are, but you really can't go wrong with Lightning and Beatrix. They're both fantastic characters. I think this is one of the more highly recommended banners I would pull on this month, just because they're time traveled and they're extremely good characters. Obviously, Astos has to be number one, and then I think if you don't have Aerith and Penelo, that was my number 2 banner of the month, but this might be number 3 for my 3rd highly recommended banner of what we know, right? But you know, Sephiroth Aranea, that could be crazy. Like there's gonna be some choices, right? And because there is so much, I would say if you're in doubt and obviously you can't pull on all these characters, go with your crystal room color, man. Like let that kind of be your guide as to what you're pulling on. So yeah, if you're yellow, I do like the Lightning Yang combo. That would be a really nice combo to pull on. So anyways, guys, I am gonna pull for both. So here's my strategy, right? I think if you are a Lightning player and you have Lightning already maxed out and you're a veteran like me, my plan is I want to get Lightning Zephyr and I want Beatrix BT. So what you do in that point, remember Lightning Zephyr will be on the Beatrix banner. So if you only need Lightning FR, you actually don't pull on this at all. So actually what I would say is unless you're like a new player that doesn't have any of Lightning's kit, this banner is actually a full skip. Because all you need for Lightning, if you already have her built with BT, is you just go here on the Beatrix side. So what my plan is I think I'm going to hop in here with tickets and try to just snag the Lightning FR, and then I've got BT tokens ready for Beatrix is what I think I might do. And if I get lucky and snag her BT, great. Trust me, there's plenty of characters this month I can use my BT tokens on. So, but I think I'm going to gun here first. We're going to ticket for Lightning FR, and then I'm going to token Beatrix because I got the rest of all the kits, right? So anyways, let me know what you guys are planning to do on these banners. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.